Welcome to True Creepy Encounter Stories 1. Eerie Encounter with a Man with an Ear-to-Ear Smile by Vataga on Creepy Encounters from Reddit. As a child, I traveled a lot with my mother to different tourist places in our country and abroad. We celebrated that New Year's Eve in Austria, and I was 12 years old at the time. That day, we were at the museum, one of the most famous places in Vienna, especially for tourists like us. However, I remember that this rendezvous was tiring for me. When we were at the very bottom of the museum, my mom said that she wanted to go to the bathroom. When I was sitting there, he started talking to me, and I thought he asked me some questions. But he was speaking in German, and I didn't understand what he was saying to me. I replied to him that I don't know the language, which infuriated him. He touched my shoulder and changed his voice from affectionate to aggressive. His English was as so-so as mine, but he tried to convince me that I really do speak German, and that I try to fool him. At this point, my mom came back and approached the man in surprise. He clearly was frightened and quickly waved at me, fastly walking away out of the museum. My mother wanted to know what he wanted, but I did not know what to say to her, for I did not understand anything that the man said, except for a complaint that I did not answer him in German. There was also an elderly couple who were around, overlooked all the encounter. I approached them and asked what the man was trying to tell me. The woman just replied something that it didn't really matter, and that the man was very strange, and I should be very careful. Who knows what would have happened if my mom hadn't showed up on time. 2. Guys surrounded our car in the dark by double night sky from Creepy Encounters on Reddit. This happened many decades ago, but it still puzzles me to this day. Here goes. My buddy and I, we were in college at the time, back in our little hometown for the weekend. That Saturday night, we were driving around getting high and drunk. We were driving down a dark country road, and it was pitch black, overcast, so no moon, and we stopped on a dirt road to take a leak and to roll another joint. My buddy, who was driving, left the car running, but turned off the lights. We didn't see any other cars or people around for us for miles. So, my buddy started rolling the joint, and the overhead light inside the car was on. Some choice words. He slammed the car into gear, and we went and hauled out of there. Those guys were probably the people we knew from town. I even thought I recognized one of them. But I've always wondered what in the hell they were doing out there in the middle of nowhere on a pitch black night, without flashlights, and apparently only on foot. 3. Hello, dear people. I would like to share a creepy story of mine that has been bugging me and making me paranoid for quite some time now. To clarify, I am a male, and this happened to me when I was 16 in May. It was just another regular day at school, and I had just exited my bus and began walking home. The path home is not too long, so it only takes me about 12 minutes to get home. I kept walking, as usual. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. At some point in my walk, there's a very narrow path that leads between two buildings. Cars have to squeeze between them. I always walk on the edge of the road so cars can pass by me easily. Again, there was a small opening. I moved to the right, clearly signaling with my body language to the driver that he could pass me. He didn't. And at some point, I started getting paranoid, because he was slowly driving up behind me. Nothing like this had happened to me before. The driver or the people in the car clearly wanted something from me. Just to clarify, there wasn't a single person or car nearby, so I quickened my pace, eventually exited the narrow road, and came upon an opening. It was possible for me to either turn left or right, but the driver could also turn around on the same road and go back the way they came. I took the road to the right, and at that point, I heard a shout behind me. It was a male's voice that said, "Hey!" It was angry and rude voice. I did not turn around, I just kept speed walking. The weirdest thing came next. The car turned around and went back to the narrow road. I could not see his registration number. I did not see it again. I kept looking back. I did not want him to know where I lived. There could have been many different reasons why he followed me. Maybe he was a friend of mine, just wanted to say hello. But if he was, wouldn't he have shouted my name or something? Another theory is that he wanted to ask me directions. But that has happened to me before, but people were always very friendly. I want to have a real explanation for this. On a darker note, that could have been an attempted robbery, or even worse, a kidnapping. I don't know. I am probably just being paranoid. Like I said, I just want to find a good explanation for this. And that's where our tale comes to an end, for now. Did the shadows of the story linger in your mind, or did they vanish with the dawn? Remember, darkness isn't always about what you can see. It's also about what you can't.